Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Akron's hottest and fastest growing show, 3 Throw to Go. I'm your host, Hank Forrester, coming to you live on location at the Wolf Creek Tavern in Norton, Ohio. Tonight we get to meet the owners of the tavern, and we get to explore some of the history behind this place. But before we do that, we're once again joined by the dulcet tones of Danny Marie.
How you doing, Hank?
Just living the dream.
Tonight's episode is brought to us by Acme Fresh Market. We are proud to be partnering with Acme throughout the season. Simply put, Acme has low prices, friendly people, fast checkout. You can always check out their digital deals as well as acmestores.com.
Folks, we're also sponsored tonight by Sheena's Platinum Movements. We had a chance to share Sheena's story just this past Sunday. We've had some audio issues, so we remastered that episode on YouTube, and you can now view it in its entirety with good sound quality. We're also rolling out a new sponsor this week. Let's hear it for Cycling Solutions. They're located conveniently in Copley, Ohio. Tom Weissman provides coaching, fitting, and repairs to folks ranging from casual riders to biking enthusiasts. We'll get a chance to share his story later on this month, but you can find him on Facebook or online at www.cyclingsolutions.net. Danny.
Yeah.
Big week for you next week.
It is. I'm excited.
So, yeah, it's a big deal for Danny. We're going to release her. She's been a part of 3 Throw to Go Media Network now for a little over a year and a half, and she starts her own show next week called A Sip of Solidarity, which is, go ahead and describe it to people.
So we are a woman-only podcast that is really going to focus on celebrating and encouraging and just authentic women. So we've got a great lineup already, our first 10 shows scheduled and ready to go, just about being real women in the real world and what it's all about. So
yes, we're very excited. She's going to be joining the 3 Throw Network with her own show. So big round of applause for Danny Marie. So now, without further ado, let's meet the man of the hour, the myth, the legend. Everybody, he's like, whatever already. Let's have a nice round of applause for Mr. Shane Moore, everybody. Hi, Shane.
How's it going?
Good, good, good. All right, so let me turn that down a little bit. All right, so thanks for having us out tonight.
Happy to have you here. More than welcome.
And thanks for feeding us.
Happy St. Patrick's Week, everybody.
So I have a question.
When you're Irish, it is the whole week.
I was going to say, do I detect an accent there?
Yeah, Dublin, Ireland.
So this is the real deal.
It's the real deal.
This isn't like Irish faux. This is like for real.
I'd like to screw with people, and I used to tell people a lot of times when they said to me, "Where are you from?" I'd say Birmingham, Alabama, and they'd look at me and they'd go, "What?" And then I would just walk away.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. All right, so thanks for having us on. All right, now you brought me a little bevy here.
Yeah, that's a little 12-year-old pot still Irish whiskey called Yellow Spot.
What happened to yours?
He drank mine and his.
Mine must have a hole in the glass.
He drank them both up.
All right, so tell us about this drink.
That is distilled by the Middleton Distillery. It's Ireland's most famous distillery. Do we have any whiskey lovers in the house by any chance? I highly recommend Irish pot still whiskey. It's super pure. That's a 12-year-old called Yellow Spot, and you can get it here in Ohio.
I'm going to sip it. I'm not going to shoot it, okay?
That's not a shooting whiskey.
All right, sounds good. All right, but I'll take a little swig real quick. Woo!
That's why I told him he could have mine.
Folks, this is the difference in terms of FCC rules, in terms of being on the air versus being on Facebook. We can drink. It's okay. All right. All right. So, so tell us about your history. Where'd you grow up? You said you grew up in Dublin.
I grew up in Dublin, Ireland. I'm sure we have a couple of Guinness drinkers in the house, but I grew up 4.5 miles from the Guinness factory back in Dublin.
Okay.
And first came to the States in 1995.
95, okay.
Yeah.
Well, when I was...
What brought you here?
Go ahead.
A crazy whim one night, myself and two buddies of mine came back from the pub in 94, and we decided we want to visit America. And we decided we wanted to do it on a bicycle. And so this bicycle here behind us, I landed in San Francisco on March 9th, 1995. And I rode that bicycle all the way to New York City.
Okay.
And that's what brought me to America.
Like Forrest Gump.
Pretty much, only on a bicycle.
All right, so So, and we took a picture of the bike. We showed the bike on our Instagram earlier, which, by the way, good job, everybody. You guys survived the great Instagram, Facebook black outage of
They probably
yesterday.
have no idea
So
what we're talking about.
congratulations. Instagram and Facebook were down, so you all survived that, okay? But I put it on Instagram, the picture of the bike, okay? So tell us more about that story. You got this idea,
Yeah.
and then it's like, how you got to get funding for it or something, right?
It really took, I mean, it took on a life of its own. At the time, probably everybody knows the famous actor Paul Newman. He's a Northeast Ohio boy. And Paul Newman was just donated a castle and 500 acres by the Irish government. And we got wind of this in '94. And this was pre-email. You didn't have cell phones, email, none of that stuff. So I, on a chance, wrote a letter to Paul Newman saying myself and two buddies of mine wanted to try to ride across America and raise enough money to bring 10 terminally ill American kids to this holiday camp / medical facility back in Ireland that was built inside a castle. Not ever known we'd hear from him, and he actually wrote back to us. As a matter of fact,
Hank's speechless.
Are you serious?
This letter here behind me is a letter that he wrote to me after we got back to Ireland, and he came over to Ireland, invited us to the castle opening, and took myself and my two friends out for lunch, which was very, very surreal.
Did you guys know all this already? Okay, you ready? Here's what the letter says. If you can't read in the back.
I can't read it.
All right, it says, "Dear Shane, what a monumental ride. What a formidable task. Magnificent. I thank you, the camp thanks you, but mostly the children thank you. Best personal wishes, Paul Newman." Round of applause, right? Eh?
Pretty awesome.
All right. So, okay, I wasn't ready for that one. Tear, okay. So, that's a big deal. Good for you, all right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's like Can I make, I don't know how the statement will be taken, but that's as an immigrant coming to America, right?
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
that's your first act as an immigrant coming to America.
We literally we were as green as it got. We didn't know America at all. It was all a big culture shock to us back in '95.
All right. Well, let me ask you so when I was telling the guys at work today about what I was doing tonight with you, and the question they had was, you're about our age, okay? All right. So did you grow up? There were some yucky times going on in Ireland, like 70s and 80s. Mm-hmm. Did you grow up through all that?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, where I went to college was in the very northwest of Ireland. And to get there every week, I had to go through the border between the north and the south. Where I grew up was the Republic of Ireland, and we went to school in the Republic of Ireland, but you had to get to it going through the north. So we went through a military checkpoint with British soldiers twice a week. I was 18 years of age. One night we got stopped at the border. It was taking a lot longer than normal, and two British soldiers got on the bus in full camouflage. They couldn't have been more than a year or two older than me. I was sitting down the back, and they didn't say a word. They came down the back of the bus. They grabbed me and literally dragged me off the bus and set the dog on me. And then a soldier came up from my right side, put a gun to my head. They had the dog release me. They threw me to the ground, beat me up a little bit, and then threw me back on the bus. Why? Because they could. Because I was powerless. I couldn't stop them in any way, and I never said a word.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, and people have a tendency in America to just take what we have for granted.
Yes, entitlement.
Yeah, and it's just what we do because we've grown up with freedom. So for you to go through that, obviously, you kind of respect what we have even more, I would assume.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, I'm a proud Irishman, but 10 years ago, I married a local girl. Amy's born and raised in this town, grew up here her entire life. And we got married 21 years ago, and 10 years ago, I felt like, you know what, I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite. I need to do my American citizenship. I had a green card, I was totally legal, but I felt it was the right thing to do. Even though I bleed green, very proud Irishman, I'm also a proud American. So I got my American citizenship 10 years ago.
Well, good job on that.
Awesome.
So now, excuse my ignorance, but that basically means you're a dual citizen, right?
Yeah, well, so interesting question, because the American government actually don't recognize dual citizenship. The Irish government do. So in the eyes of the Irish government, I'm Irish with American citizenship. In the eyes of the American government,
You're just
I'm American.
Okay.
There is none.
cancels that out.
Yeah.
I did know that.
Yeah.
But you can travel freely between both.
Yeah, and when I go home, I travel home on my Irish and American passport. When I travel around Europe, I travel on the Irish passport. When I'm coming back to the States, I come back on the American. It's just very seamless.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Good. My brother-in-law is a Scotsman. Okay. I have a very difficult time when we have conversations. I understand.
Yeah.
I'd say
a little different.
60% of what he says.
Yeah.
Right. But it's the same kind of situation. So he married. He married my sister, and then I believe I think he's gone past green card. I think he has whatever dual citizenship that entails. All right. So how did you end up in Akron? How'd you end up at Norton, of all places?
So on the bike ride, literally, I wrote a letter to 55 Lions clubs across 55 towns. We were averaging about 75 miles a day on the bikes. And when we're planning out this trip with a giant map, one town was the same as the next. You didn't have internet to go on and Google. And so I literally started in San Fran, 75 miles, let's write a letter to that town. And the letter I wrote to in this area was to the Norton Lions Club.
Okay.
Saying to them, could you put myself and my two buddies up for the night? And could you feed us? And could you help us with either newspaper publicity or radio or TV so we can try to raise enough money to bring these terminally ill American kids to Ireland? I happened to stay in a house a mile down the road with friends of a couple who ended up becoming my in-laws.
Okay.
Long story short.
Okay. Well, that's the next question. Is
I love this story.
How did you meet Amy then?
Yeah. So.
This is like a mushy love story.
It is.
Aw,
with like a bunch of philanthropy thrown in the middle of it.
Allow me
I'm
to
okay
talk
with
about
it.
my feelings.
I'm okay with it. So when I joined the show, Hank did not like that we were bringing all the emotions, and so now I'm like, oh, we're emotional again.
Yeah.
Hold on, can I try a piece of this corned beef?
Absolutely, go for
It
it.
looks really good.
This is the special. We'll talk about it later. But
Yeah,
I'm always into corn.
oh my God.
Chef just ordered in 350 pounds of corned beef for the
my
weekend.
gosh.
Is it good? I haven't had any
This
yet.
is
So
amazing.
you're having it before me.
The word is succulent.
Good.
It's
Okay.
succulent. It's just butter melts.
I'll have that for dinner. So.
Okay.
So how did you meet? I'm sorry.
So, oh God, literally, her parents asked me out for lunch, and we went to a local restaurant, and then they asked me out for dinner that night, and I didn't want to go. And my two buddies wanted to go, and I didn't want to go, and it was 2 against 1, so I said, to hell with it, I'll go out to dinner with them. And Amy came along to dinner.
Okay.
And Amy
So
wasn't...
wait, time out. Her parents asked you out.
Yeah.
So they hooked you up
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
Unintentionally.
unintentionally. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Amy wasn't the slightest bit interested in me. I don't blame her.
That's typical.
And I wasn't interested in her. She was going through a divorce. I was dating a nurse back home in Dublin who ended up ditching me. And we kept in touch. We ended up getting to New York, came back here for a week. And then that was it. Gave hugs, kisses, goodbye. I'll see you. Have a nice life. And out of the three of us, I was the only one who wrote back to say, thank you, loved all of you. You treated us like kings. Stay in touch.
All right, so let me get this straight. So you come to, Fred's asking where we're at. Fred, we're at the Wolf Creek Tavern right now, down in Norton. So like 30 seconds from your office, maybe 15 seconds from your office. He literally works across the street.
Come on over, Fred.
Come on
Don't
over,
be
Fred.
shy.
All right,
No,
so
across the street is the ice cream. We can't.
yeah, so let me get this straight. You came to America, you rode the bike to do the Paul Newman thing to help kids.
Yeah.
You stopped in Norton, you met your future wife, and then you left.
Then I left.
And you went back to Ireland.
I went
But
back
you
to
didn't
Ireland.
know that she was his future wife.
Right,
No,
right.
had no clue. I mean, literally, I remember my dad saying to me, you're going to end up living in America, you're going to end up marrying an American. And I said, I slammed my fist. And I said, I will never live in America. I will never marry an American.
All right.
Never say never.
Well, let me ask you this. Out of that whole trek, what was your favorite? I know there were probably a bunch, but what was your favorite thing to see or your favorite
Your
moment
favorite
on the
stop?
bike
Probably,
ride?
we took a break. We cycled up to Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Okay.
And we met up actually with some Irish friends of ours that happened to be there for the summer. So we stayed 5 nights in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and it was just magical.
So you had to ride like up and down mountains.
Yeah,
and stuff.
we rode right over the Rockies, just a tad under 10,000 feet high.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And folks, we'll get a better shot of that bike later. But
Yeah, that thing was loaded
when you
down
see
with
it,
bags.
it's not exactly a
No,
Well,
it's
how
not.
did you like?
a modern trek bike.
There
No.
were 3 of you. You were hauling your stuff.
Yeah,
and,
that's those. We had bags on the front and the back. We had our supply for the entire trip.
I'm impressed if I ride through Peninsula and get to stop it.
All right, so the next part of the love story.
Yeah.
So at some point, one of you writes the other and says, "Hey."
Yeah.
How did that
And
go?
Amy actually wrote me a letter saying, you know what, we actually never really talked about you and your family. Tell me something about your family. So I, like, you know, the old People magazines and those things, I cut out all these pictures and I glued them into a letter. And I cut out a picture of the Queen, a picture of, for the old folks that used to watch Dallas, J.R. Ewing, and a picture of the White House. And I said to Amy, this is my mother, this is my dad, this is where I live. And she wrote back saying, you're full of you-know-what.
That's great.
And the banter continued from there.
You were like, but All right. So, so then you start bantering. Who made the first move? I mean, how did this go? This is long.
I mean, obviously it was Amy.
But this is wow. Oh, he says
He was
said,
not marrying an American, no matter what.
He said obviously. All right. So, at some point, somebody says, "Hey, maybe we should visit each other."
Yes. I said, look, I couldn't settle back in Ireland. I'd experienced America and I was very unsettled for the next 8 months back in Dublin. And I was just at a loose end and I said to her, I want to come back for a visit.
Okay.
And that's what brought me back. And then from there, she was the only one I really knew in the area and we just hung out. I started helping her raise the 3 little ones at the time.
Okay.
And from there, she came over to Ireland for a visit. I came back for a visit, and we got married in November '97.
You said, "Hey, let's do this."
I said,
Okay.
let's do it.
So at that point, then
What was that time frame? Can I ask that time frame?
From the
From the
time,
bike ride?
yeah, from
From
the
the
bike,
bike ride
2.5
to-
years.
Yeah, 3
Wow.
years roughly.
Yeah, 2.5 years.
So okay, so she was already here in the Norton area. So
Yeah.
you're like, okay, well, fair enough. I'll settle in Norton.
You're
Like, here we are,
of all the places.
United States
Yeah.
of America.
Yeah, North
Let's
Dakota.
live in Norton.
Yeah.
All right. So at some point, you had to say to yourself, "Self, let's get in the restaurant industry." How did that happen? Where did that start?
That was part of the midlife crisis.
Okay.
Literally 5.5 years ago, I was just looking on the internet.
You want to try some? Real quick?
Do you want to eat your own food?
I
It's
will.
really
I definitely
good.
will have some. I literally stumbled upon this place, and I called up a friend of mine, and I said, "Hey, is the old Lilac Tavern for sale?" And they said, "Yeah." It went into foreclosure.
So it was closed.
It was virtually closed. Yes, and I, on a whim, offered the bank half of what they were wanting, expecting them to say pound salt, and they wanted to get rid of it, and they said, "Yes."
Okay.
Wow.
And now I'm looking at thinking, oh, good God, what are we going to do? But at the bottom of it all, I really wanted to bring something back to this community. This community didn't have a anchor restaurant, a place where people could come, talk, hang out, and enjoy each other's company.
Okay.
And I wanted to bring that to the community.
So what year was that?
That was 5 years ago, just
Right.
over 5 years ago.
So that's 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And at some point, so you want to make it like a rustic Cheers, but at some point you're like, I want to interject my Irish personality too, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a proud American establishment. It was built in 1830. All this wood you see on the walls is all Warmy chestnut. I met a lady 5 years ago who was in her upper 80s and told me her dad installed this wood on the walls and the ceiling in the 1940s.
Wow.
So I didn't want this to be an Irish place. It's not an Irish establishment. We have a little Irish flair, but it's a proud American establishment, as it should be.
So, first of all, we got some comments coming in from the audience real quick. Tom Weissman, he's our sponsor with Cycling Solutions. He said, riding a bicycle across the United States is an absolute monumental task. As a fellow cyclist, his hat's off to you. Okay?
Cheers, Tom. Thank you.
On top of that, Josh Witter is weighing in, and Josh and Jody Witter say, hey, what's up?
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys. Hope you're doing well. Happy St. Patrick's
If
Day.
you know the Witters,
Yeah.
I played.
Absolutely.
Me and Josh go back and forth on political issues,
Yeah.
and we play fantasy football together, too.
Good. And Jody worked here for a while, and we loved her, and we miss you.
All right, they miss you, Jody. All right, so you start the restaurant. Okay, now you're 5 years in. So initially, when you started up, what were some of the challenges that you had to go through?
I mean, everything. We had to put a new roof on. There wasn't a fork.
How long had this sat empty?
When we purchased it, it wasn't empty, but it was a real bad location. And I shut it down for 6 months, literally. And we had to rebuild the kitchen. We had to hire all new staff, as many local people as we possibly could. And there wasn't a knife or fork in the place. So we had to start all over again from scratch.
Okay.
So it took time.
Okay.
And we're not restaurateurs. We learned the hard way. Lots of mistakes.
Okay. Well, you seem to have at least
figured it out.
You have adjusted.
Well, listen, I'll be the first one to say, I'll take 5% of the credit. This place is the lifeline of this place. The heart of this place is my wife, Amy.
Well,
she runs this place from top to bottom. Without Amy, this doesn't exist.
You know what Amy said to me earlier? Okay. Where is she, by the way?
She's
ran past
literally
it.
probably back
She's
in the
running.
kitchen
We
right
at
now
least have to
helping
get
out.
her.
She's amazing.
We got to get her on screen for at least 10 seconds.
She didn't want to be though, did she?
So just so you guys know, here's what Amy said to me earlier. I said, now you guys are both going to be on tonight, right? She said no. She goes, I like to be behind the scenes. He's the face and the mouth, okay? So she literally said, he's the mouth of the tavern, all right? So wherever she's at, we'll get her on.
She's been running around like crazy.
Yeah.
We'll catch her in a little bit, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about. So you go to start the place out, and like I said, you wanted an Irish flair, but you wanted an Americana as well. So it's kind of merging the two.
It's a great mix.
So
Too.
talk about where do you guys fall in terms of like a venue? We got one right here.
I'm good. We pride ourselves on one thing. There's nothing in this restaurant that's just frozen. Even our French fries are cooked every day from fresh potatoes, boxing back there. Everything is cooked from scratch. We try to buy as much local as we can. All our beef is Ohio raised. We're very moderately priced, but we pride ourselves on fresh. We have a tremendous chef, local guy from Norton, and he put together a great crew. We have an amazing pastry chef.
Well, and so I think that's a cool part, right? To take little bits and pieces of all kinds of different flavors and kind of merge it all together. So where do you guys fall from? Like, give me an example. Okay, so I have a whole bunch of them, and that's Prohibition. So when it comes to like the prices, it was staticky?
Like everything. You can't hear us hardly at all. Just like a minute ago. But I mean, it's different than the old one. I feel like
Hold on. Give us 2 seconds, everybody. Danny, go ahead and plug it out here. Unplug it. All right. Now go ahead and hit the button so that it flips the camera and just turn the thing around.
To me?
Yeah. Good. Now flip it. Turn it around. Then use the thing. Use the handle. Okay, there you go. Turn it around and angle it down. Angle it down. Keep going. There we go. All right. The noise left. Can you hear us? Kathy Bacon. Kathy, can you hear us? Earphones and no earphones. Nice and clear. Kathy, you can hear us? All right, let's continue. All right. So, once again, folks, every once in a while we have, what up, Shane? Steve Sabo just said hello. Steve?
Steve-O, how you doing, man?
Steve runs Funky Truckeria, right? In the taco joint.
Great place.
All right, so Judy, thank you for letting us know. I don't know, what is with that?
But that's different than what we've been experiencing.
But we're at that moment like every time. It's like 25 minutes in. It's so weird. All right, so continue
sorry
on.
about that, guys.
So menu options. Okay, so price-wise, I was asking you. So I got a family of 6. So every time I go
I'm
out,
eating this bacon while you're talking.
every time I go out anywhere, it's like it's like ridiculous. Like, you know, I'm spending anywhere between 100 to 150 if I go to a normal place, right? So where you guys fall on? Do you have like happy hours, specials, or how's it work?
Happy hour every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 4 to 7. You'll come in here, get an amazing burger for $5.
Okay.
Half-price appetizers. And then even when you come in off happy hour hours, people tell us for what you get, the quality of our food, we're extremely moderately priced. Listen, I'm glad Steve's on. Steve's a local guy, local business owner, producing great fresh food, as are we. If you can support local versus the chain restaurants, do so. America was built on local. It was not built on chains.
Right. And honestly, that's what the premise of our show is all about. 3 to go, the whole thought process is we do everything local. I mean, we focus on the Akron, Canton, Youngstown area. That's what we do. All right, so...
But I think that's been lost.
Yeah. All right, so the next question is... So tell us about the history of the building. This building has incredible history. Tell us about it.
Yeah, there's the boss actually right now. Hey, boss. That's okay. Would you like to tell the gang about the history of this place?
We just
saying no.
Amy, we wanted you on for like 5 seconds. Just come in and wait. Just come in and
Here,
wait.
2 seconds.
We told your whole love story. She's getting mad.
Don't be shy.
Amy,
There's
World,
the boss.
Amy World.
There's the boss.
Big round of applause for Amy. Oh, wrong one. That's a cat. We don't want to do a cat.
This is the woman who stole me from my
There
people.
she is. All right. So thanks for joining us, Amy. He speaks so highly of you, and the story's been incredible. And just hearing his journey, and then the way that this all happened, and the whole love lettering, and he said that you made the first movie. You said you got to come see me. So point being, so thank you for providing us this gem in Norton, Ohio. He said it's mostly you're doing, and he's the mouth.
He took
and
5% credit.
He's the mouth and the face.
Crazy idea, but you are the heart of this place, without a doubt.
So, all right. So big round of applause for Amy, everybody. All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. So I didn't want to keep you on. I know you don't want to be on. All right. So just smile away. All right. Okay. All right. So tell us about the history.
Yeah, it's interesting. This place, we actually originally thought it was built in 1840, and it turns out it was 1830.
Okay.
My wife is telling me they can't hear at the back, but I don't control the sound, baby.
They can't hear what?
Us.
What? Where?
At the back of the restaurant.
Oh, okay. All right.
Anyway, not to worry.
I can turn that up.
We'll keep going.
Is that better?
This was originally built as a cabinet maker's store back in 1830, and it was been many things over the years. At one point, it was a blacksmith shop. Believe it or not, it was also a place called the Loyal Oak House Hotel for many, many years.
Where were the rooms?
The room upstairs.
Oh.
Upstairs. For those of you that are intimately familiar with the Civil War era, this was a very active underground railroad. And the Underground Railroad is still in existence, at least the first 10 feet of it down in our basement. And then it hit solid dirt. It all caved in on itself many, many years ago. And then during the Prohibition era, this was a very active speakeasy. So for nearly 14 years, downstairs, if any of you have never been downstairs in the speakeasy, I highly recommend you go down there. The bar has been here since the Civil War. It's a chestnut tree sliced in half, and it was an active speakeasy for nearly 14 years.
And we're going to go down there in just a little bit. But yeah, so it's interesting because, folks, if you've never noticed, there's a sign on the door right here. Was that an active sign with this place?
No, that's a replica that Amy found that she wanted to show. This is what federal agents actually used to put up when they busted speakeasies back in the Prohibition era.
Okay, so there's a sign on the door, and it does apply to what was downstairs. Is that why there's a great window right there?
Probably, at some point, they had some secret code. I don't know what it was. We don't know what it was. All we know is that this place was flourished as a speakeasy because the local authorities turned a blind eye, but the federal authorities did not know about it.
Okay.
And that's how it thrived.
Interesting. All right. So you said Underground Railroad, Katie. Is there any more history on that?
Yeah. So the Norton Historical Society and the Copley Historical Society have done a lot of homework on that. It actually ran across the street. At one point in time, this intersection had 3 stagecoach inns or hotels, and the Underground Railroad ran across the street, under the street, to one of them. And It wasn't what I thought it was. When I first came to the States, I thought an underground railroad was something you can walk through. This is something you crawl through. This is not a comfortable scenario at all.
Okay.
And in many cases, you hide there for 48 hours.
Okay, okay. All right, so at this point, folks, we're going to go mobile. We're literally going to pick the phone up and take it off the tripod, and we're going to head down the basement. So if any of you in our viewing audience have never been downstairs, please feel free to join us while he tells the story about the basement. All right, so we're going to head on down. Go ahead and grab that tripod, Danny. And we're already disconnected from our main sound, so it should be fine. So just unplug the
Green cord.
the green cord. We should be good to go, and I don't think you need to plug that back in. I'm just wondering what created that. What created that horrible static?
It was different than normal.
It's so weird.
Sorry, you're gonna go for a ride for a minute.
All right, okay. We'll be right back. All right. Oh. How are we doing here?
I flipped it. So
All right, we
it's
flipped
my
it,
nostrils.
so people are still. You don't want them to see your nostrils?
No.
All right, so here's that. Okay, here we go.
Good. Where'd he go?
We're going in. He said turn the light. Do what with the light? So what does that do?
That means it's
Speakeasy's open. The red light is on.
So when the speakeasy is open, the red light is on. All right. So here we go. We're going in. Go ahead, shut the thing. Let's get the sign. So it says closed for violation of National Prohibition Act by the United States Court, by order of the United States Court. All persons are forbidden to enter. Here we go. Heading in. And here we go. This is like the Hudson on House, but it's in reverse. I'm filming.
Do you notice that he's filming and I'm leading this?
Yeah.
That's because the haunted house.
All right. Oh, people are coming with us. People are coming with us. All right. So coming down. We're going down the steps. Going down the steps.
This is so cool.
Hopefully the Wi-Fi hangs on. All right. So we come downstairs and we got the Hollywood gangsters right off the rip. Look at these guys. Look at these guys. All right. Look at this place. All right. So we're gonna take a look. Take a look around the backside over here. What's that crest over there? Anything over here going on?
I'm not really sure. That was there when we bought the place. We don't know how long it's been there or who put it there.
So when I was here, probably 3 years ago, there was like an Irish band down here. Like it was amazing.
Yeah.
Here's the backside of the lower chamber, and folks, it's about, I don't know, 20 degrees cooler down here.
Oh, it's cold.
Easily.
So the basement is all sand, or the foundation's all sandstone, so it holds cold and radiates heat.
Okay.
The basement's all sandstone, you said. Okay. Now here's the bar. Okay.
And what is the story? Because I remember hearing a story about this bar.
This was this is a chestnut tree sliced in half. This was the original bar upstairs over 100 years ago when this was the Loyal Oak House Hotel.
Wow.
And so during Prohibition era, there was a lot of discrimination against women. This was a guys-only bar. Only guys were down here. So you can imagine back in the 1920s, the lads sitting here drinking away. A little known fact about this area is this became an active whorehouse during the Prohibition era.
Okay.
So the lads would be down,
down here?
All kinds
They'd come down here, they drink illegally, they take their girl, they'd go upstairs to one of the old rooms, they take care of business, and they'd come back down here and nobody was the wiser.
Let's check out the bar here.
And that went on for nearly 14 years.
We're checking out
There's
the bar.
even mustaches. Check this
You'll
out.
see the old bark on this side of the bar.
Oh yeah, there's bark. So you said it's a half a tree?
Yeah.
Cut in half?
And then this was a hole that was knocked out of the wall in the Prohibition
Look at
era.
that, look at that, look at that.
So they could instantly get alcohol.
Look at that! Oh my God, that is incredible. So this is the Prohibition hole right here.
Yeah.
Right there. So they covered it up. Wow.
Alcohol in and out of here and into the tunnel.
That's incredible. So where's the tunnel go?
Well, the tunnel is now back over there. It literally goes for about 10 feet and it hits solid dirt.
That's
It's all gone. It
hysterical.
all caved in on itself many years ago when they built the intersection, so it doesn't exist anymore. It's all gone.
That is great.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so
And there's a story about this cash register too. Todd.
Cash register. We had a guy in here maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I asked him. He restores these, and I asked him if he knew how old it was, and he said it's about 70 years old.
Okay.
I went to move it by myself one day. This thing's got to be at least 200 pounds.
wow.
It's so heavy. We don't know where the key is. We never tried to open it up. Whatever's in there, we don't know what's in there, and we're just gonna leave it there.
It'd be like Geraldo opening the vault, right?
Wow.
That'd be cool. All right, so how do people use this?
Yeah, so down here, we do a lot of private events here in the tavern. So we have 3 function rooms upstairs. We do a lot of wedding rehearsals, weddings, birthday parties, etc., etc. But we rent down here for the princely sum of $100, and you can reserve this entire room for yourself for the entire night. And people come down here and they dress up in 1920s attire.
I'm already dating
We
it.
gotta do that.
We get a lot of people that just, ladies will say, hey, girls, you want to get together for a night out? They rent a room.
So it's like a Gatsby party.
And they have a bartender, and they all are wearing their flapper dresses.
I think I just themed that party.
How many how many people does it fit? Like 20 to 30?
You can get 25 down here very comfortably.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
You hear that, folks? So you can.
Well, during that renting, will you serve food too and everything?
We'll do food. We'll do appetizers. We'll have a bartender. He or she will make Prohibition style cocktails.
Wow.
And we have some music, Prohibition style music, old stuff. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
That sounds like a blast.
You're gonna have to dress up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All you gotta do is go on, email us. Email us at wolfcreektavern@gmail.com, and Amy will give you all the details.
Yeah, so if you guys didn't catch that, it's $100 to rent down here, and you can have a private party.
And you can wear fancy dresses.
You can wear fancy dresses. You're all excited.
I'm so excited.
All right.
Prohibition
We're gonna head
dresses and gloves.
Thanks for coming down, folks. We're heading back up. Okay. All right. So up we go. That was cool. I love the hole in the wall. That's fantastic. It leads to a tunnel. That is great. All right. Here we go. Okay. And we're back. They're having fun down there. All right, let's put this back up.
I'm sorry, but I can rent the place and they have chocolate martinis. I feel like this is my new favorite place.
All right. All right, cool. Woo!
Thanks for the transition time.
Well, that was cool. All right, that was really cool. So, folks, if you haven't been down there, you can rent out that room for $100 to have a private party, and you can have a bartender down there and dress up with 1920s and 30s music and the whole deal.
Amazon has amazing Gatsby dresses.
There is a hole in the wall where they used to pass the alcohol through. It's covered by a big piece of wood, and they knocked a hole in with a tunnel that they would sneak the alcohol in. So you got to check that out if you haven't. All right.
I have a question real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you still sell turtle soup?
It depends. Sometimes yes, other times no. We let our chef we have a menu, but we let our chef get very creative, and he does a lot of stuff off the menu. So we kind of leave it up to him. He's a foodie, and we don't want to kill his creativity.
Perfect. I just had a question on that.
All right, so here we are, Irish, and it is St. Patrick's Day week.
I know.
All right,
here we go again. My liver is already screaming.
All right, so tell us, what do we have in store for this place over the next couple of days?
Yeah, it's going to be a doozy. I'm taking artistic license, being Irish. We're actually celebrating St. Patrick's Day on Saturday.
Okay.
We're normally closed on Sundays and Mondays. So tomorrow night, we've got an Irish band, Celtic Rush. They'll be here from 7:30 to 9:30. I'm sure it's going to be packed. They're great. And then on Saturday, we open at 9:30 a.m. We're going to be serving breakfast. We're open all day, all night. We've got music from 1 to 4 and 7:30 to 9:30 at night. It's going to be a doozy.
All right, so is there a cover charge for the bands at all?
No, we don't charge for our music. No.
Excellent, excellent.
Will the bands be downstairs or will
they'll be right here.
Okay.
Right here. 1 to 4 will be in the bar. 7:30 to 9:30 at night, they'll be right here where we're sitting.
Perfect.
And the same tomorrow night.
Perfect. All right, so I saw you got the outdoor patio.
Yeah.
What else are you thinking about doing? I ventured upstairs and it looks like there's banquet rooms up there.
Yeah.
Smaller banquet rooms.
Yeah.
So what are the future plans that you have? I mean, you're 5 years in now. When you look down the road, what are you thinking about doing?
Yeah, so we've noticed this year, we actually just had our best ever January and our best ever February. And it's mostly been driven by parties. We're doing a huge amount of private parties upstairs and in the speakeasy. Whether it's an anniversary, a wedding, a birthday, a retirement, parties have really exploded this year. We can hold 75 people upstairs, no problem. And then in the summertime, we have a deck that can seat 46 people, and then standing room. So the next 5 years, what does it look like? It really is continuing to support local business, hire local people, buy local produce, local meats, etc., and produce ongoing quality. That's what we're known for, is quality ingredients.
Okay.
We want to keep it that way.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, so past St. Patrick's Day,
Yep.
what are we looking for in terms of special events?
Yeah, big event. So our 5-year anniversary party, can't believe it's here already, is Sunday. We're opening up Memorial Weekend on a Sunday, and we've got our 5-year anniversary party, and we have an amazing band coming in that night. They're from Ireland. They're called the New Barley Corn. That's going to be the first time we're ever going to charge a cover charge. It's only $10 a person to come in and listen to the music. Full food menu, drinks, etc. That will be Sunday, May 26th.
Okay, Sunday, May 26th is Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's cool. All right, well, once again, Shane, thank you so much
My
for having
pleasure.
us tonight.
Thank you.
And folks, if you enjoy his story at all, let's have a big round of applause for Shane, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so once again, to our viewing audience, I'd like to thank you once again for tuning in tonight. It's been great getting to know the Moors and to hear the rich history of the tavern as well. Just a reminder to mention to your server here that you saw the show, and I'm going to challenge you to give $3.30 off any order over $20 if they saw the show and mentioned it to you.
Game. We're game.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so next week we get to sit down with Tom Wiseman. We're going to talk about his latest adventure with Cycling Solutions. Tom was on earlier, all right? But before we do that, I just want to take a moment and pause. However, tonight is Danny's last show as my full-time co-host. So thank you so much, Danny. We here at 3 Throw to Go would like to wish her and Amy great success with their new show, A Sip of Solidarity. And as you begin your new adventure next Thursday. So
I'm like tearing up.
Big round of applause for Danny. That's the whole point, though. We create, we nurture, and then we launch, right? Okay, so you're gonna do your thing, all right?
I am. I'm good.
But until then, I don't know where I'm going, but there ain't no sense in being late. Everybody, say goodnight, Shirley.
Good night, Shirley.
This podcast is a copyright of Moon Garden Media Limited.